Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at the pitching for today, the 15th of August. It is Friday. We do have a 12-game main slate ahead of us this evening. We do not have much to worry about from a weather standpoint. Some very slight delay risk in a few games. Some warmer temperatures in the Midwest. Nothing big from a wind standpoint. Minnesota, Kansas City, probably the best spots to pay attention to for some wind. Slight wind blown out in Sacramento. Obviously something to be cognizant of just because that ballpark obviously provides some offensive upside. But we're here to look at pitching. This is a first look at the pitching options on the slate. And I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play in FanDuel, you can cut my pool in half or so. Present isn't quite as tight. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now with all that said and done, let's just jump into Texas and Toronto. Great matchup here. Basically, the great part of the matchup, DeGrom taking on the hotter Toronto team. I think they've cooled down a little bit from an offensive standpoint, but they were rolling. So it is a tougher matchup overall, but I still plan on utilizing a little bit of DeGrom. Didn't strike out anybody against him the first time he faced them, and Toronto just doesn't strike out all that much overall, but it is still DeGrom. His underlying numbers and rates are stronger on the road. Does give up more home runs, but I still think he has enough upside to work out for us in this matchup. Bassett has been all over the place, especially in the second half of the season, but he is far and away better when pitching at home, where he's obviously at this evening. I think it's a pretty good spot. The Rangers are 3-7 over their last 10 games. Probably a matchup that I think some people might just overlook. I'm going to refresh, see if we can get some ownership projections. Not sure if they are out. But Bassett's just one of those guys that tends to show up when we don't quite expect him to. Yeah, it looks like we're still waiting on ownership yet today. It's got to be coming in at any point, I would believe. It is 11:15 Central Time. But with that said, I do think Bassett is somebody that I want to utilize. I think some people might just skip over him, and that's what's going to intrigue me most about him. Miami-Boston, Giolito, coming off of a rough start, had been phenomenal the previous two starts. Going through stretches, 35 fantasy point upside, against Seattle. Miami, a weaker team overall. He has struggled a bit in Fenway from a fantasy points perspective. But I do think he is definitely in play on this slate at 8,500. Pretty nice price point, honestly. The Marlins, similar to the Rangers, are 3-7 over the last 10. So good time for Giolito to run into them. Alcantara, been absolutely atrocious on the road. His home numbers are starting to stabilize a little bit more, but his road numbers are just absolutely atrocious. I want to believe him, but at this point, I think I just need to turn off my Alcantara love and wait until next season and hope that he returns to form. Seeing 6,500 next to his name, becomes super intriguing to me, but I just have to look at what we're seeing out on the field right now. And Alcantara is just struggling in his return from Tommy John. So I'm just going to have to pass. Call 2025 a wash for him and hope that he comes back next spring. Like the arm that we got used to seeing prior to the elbow injury. Cleveland, Atlanta, Cantillo has had a couple decent starts in a row from a fantasy point perspective. Just didn't rack up strikeouts last time out, which kept him from putting up a pretty strong score. allowed some runs the time before that, but picked up strikeouts. I'm not sure what to do with Cantillo right now. It's somebody I'm going to have to think about as the day goes on. He's just not really an arm that I love, but his K numbers have been so strong this season at the major league level. He does walk a bunch of guys, and that's a worry. Huge whip is never a good thing, especially on DraftKings. But the overall Atlanta offense is, definitely weakened. I did hear some rumors of Acuna returning. That may make a difference as well. Him coming back to that lineup makes it a bit stronger. Might force Cantillo out of my player pool. Waldrop, 2 appearances at the major league level, looked really good. Did not look good last year in his debuts. Cleveland, not really an offense that worries me, but they are playing pretty well. 7-3 over their last 10. Have really cut into the Tigers' lead, which is really shocking. With that said, I do like Waldrop a little bit. I'm just not sure I'm going to get there. It's not like a perfect matchup by any means, but still, I do think he's somebody that's viable. If Acuna is back for Atlanta, I do think he's a better option than Cantillo in this game. But, again, something I want to spend the afternoon making a decision on. Mets, Mariners. Minaya, been stuck in the mid-80s with pitch count. Strikeouts came back a little bit last time out against the Brewers, but that was against the hot Milwaukee squad. Struggled the last 2 starts. There is strikeout upside in this matchup with Seattle. So it's one thing that definitely intrigues me. And his underlying numbers at home have been really strong. A couple of mistakes with home runs. But it's not the most ideal scenario, especially because we're pretty much saying we're hoping for 5 innings out of Minaya. But with that said, I think there's enough upside right now. Seattle has been hot, 8-2 over the last 10. I think I'm leaning towards Minaya, but he's kind of on the borderline. Castillo's a guy that I'm just not playing on the road. Pretty extreme home road splits. I'm willing to pass on him. He hasn't been terrible over his last few starts, but still, I'm going to pass. Again, a lot of it is just I don't really like to play him on the road. His home starts have been real solid, so no problem moving on from there. Baltimore, Houston. Framber Valdez, somebody that I'm going to play and hope a bounce back. 2 bad starts in a row in spots that I definitely used him. K numbers disappeared after a 12K performance. They completely disappeared. But I do think it's a decent bounce back spot. Extra day of rest, etc. Baltimore, the lineup they ran out there yesterday looked really rough. I expect it to be somewhat similar today. Framber Valdez probably going to be one of my favorite pitchers. As weird as it might sound, given how bad he's thrown recently. I'm just going to refresh here to get some projected ownership numbers, see if it comes through. Does not look like it. But yeah, Framber Valdez for sure. Brandon Young, not somebody I'm going to consider at all. Detroit, Minnesota. I am debating Charlie Morton. I'm not using the Minnesota pitching scenario. Morton hasn't been... He's been okay. I mean, the strikeouts have definitely been there with Detroit. He definitely turned it around from an early season struggle, which I obviously like to see. Strikeout numbers are what we need. He is going to allow some base runners. Walks have been an issue of late too. So it's really, can he get the strikeouts? I do think he does get them in this matchup. He has struggled a bit against Minnesota. Not sure about his start. Not sure which one was his start here, but not the greatest against Minnesota, but still. It's a different Minnesota lineup. His whip numbers are obviously a worry on DraftKings, but still, I think there's upside for him in this particular matchup. So I have no problem using Charlie Morton. White Sox, Royals. Noah Cameron's somebody that I'm definitely using. I like his ability. I like his upside. The White Sox aren't the best of matchups for left-handed pitching from an upside standpoint. They don't really strike out a ton overall, but still, I like Cameron quite a bit pitching at home. Savale has had some huge games. I'm just not really interested in picking on Kansas City with a pitcher, just because they don't offer a ton of K upside for pitchers. So I think we can pass on Savale and feel okay with it. Yankees, St. Louis, Luis Gil, somebody that I want to see perform well, looked pretty decent in his last start after an atrocious debut. St. Louis doesn't strike out a whole lot, but again, St. Louis's offense isn't all that dangerous either. So I actually think Luis Gil is somebody I want to use just because we know what kind of upside he offers. And at 7,500, it's super intriguing. The other side, Payante, not somebody I'm interested in against the Yankees. Arizona, Colorado, and Coors. I don't think I'm getting there. Either pitcher. Fott's been pretty bad on the road this season. 17 home runs allowed in 57 and 2/3 innings. Not an ideal thing to have going on when traveling into Coors. And Gordon just doesn't do it for me at all. Probably will never. Angels, A's. Kikuchi, I think, has plenty of upside. Dominated the A's the first time he faced them. He does struggle a little bit more on the road, but his K numbers are stronger when on the road. So just know that there is some volatility to him. Obviously, there's a chance that some blow-ups. Walks can happen. Couple home runs, and then I say, he's allowed, 4 runs through 4 innings or something. But I do think there's just a ton of upside, so I want to use Kikuchi in this spot. Jack Perkins looked pretty decent last time out against Baltimore. Did give up 3 runs, but still, 19 fantasy points in that performance. Doesn't give up a couple of those runs, and we might be looking at 23, 24 fantasy points. There is some upside in the matchup. So I am going to consider him. I'm not locking him in at all. He's struggled when pitching at home so far. So it's somebody I want to kind of think about as the day goes on. But he is somebody that you shouldn't be shocked if he shows up in my pool, in my notes on the site, or if I talk about him on the pre-lock show later today. Kershaw against San Diego. He's had some big career games against San Diego. But I can't trust him. K upside just really isn't there. He has struggled a bit more at home. It's just a good spot where we can probably pass on pitching. Tampa Bay, San Francisco, obviously the ballpark. One that I absolutely love for pitching. Leonard out, making his return from the IL. Made 1 rehab start, just 3 innings. 50 pitches in rehab. I wish we could consider him in this ballpark, but I don't think we can use him at 60, 65 pitches in this game. I wish I could, but just not a spot where we can trust. Joe Boyle, coming off of an atrocious performance, does have some walk issues. Can obviously have home run issues based on that last one, but he does have K upside, and this is a ballpark I don't mind gambling on the upside. Now, this ballpark does limit strikeouts a bit. Kind of weird, but some of it is pitchers just pitch to more contact in this ballpark because they can get away with it. With that said, Joe Boyle does have tremendous upside at $5,400. That first performance this year kind of shows us what his ability is. Followed it up with another really strong performance. Would have matched it if he would have got the win in this one. So that shows us we have upper 20s upside from this guy. Lengthened out to 88 pitches last time out. Things kind of line up. I think he's got upside. He's one of those guys that I think could win us a GPP this evening. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell on. Get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. There will be a link to our merch store. I did just receive my hoodie last night. I may or may not be rocking it today on the live show. You'll have to check that out. But that's what I got for you. As always, best of luck, everybody.